Good evening, Bahamas. This is NB12 broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Here's what's making news tonight. The Labor Minister says he's willing to release the NIB contributions of all MPs. Both the FNM and PLP held rallies in North Abaco last night. A cancer gene specialist conducting studies at PMH. Plus, National Heroes Day observed for the first time in the country's history. Those stories and much more on the way when Nikia DeVoe and NB12 starts right now. Joining us here at NB12 this holiday evening. Topping news tonight, Labor Minister Shane Gibson says he would accept former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram's challenge to release the national insurance contributions of all sitting politicians. During the Free National Movement's first North Abaco rally last weekend, the retired Member of Parliament said all MPs' NIB records should be made public so that Bahamians would know whose contributions are current and whose are behind. His comments came after Gibson provided the media with information from the National Insurance Board's files. Vonnie Toot reports.
After coming under heavy fire for releasing the national insurance records of FNM candidate Greg Gomez, Labor Minister Shane Gibson says he has no problem taking it one step further by releasing the contributions of all members of Parliament. Gibson was responding to former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram, who challenged him to produce NIB records of all sitting politicians so that the public could also scrutinize them and not just the FNM's North Abaco candidate. Gibson says he thinks it's a wonderful idea.
Oh, I would do that. I have no difficulty. No difficulty. As a matter of fact, he himself released all sorts of information all over the place. See, the only difference between them and me is I don't hide. I don't all make public declarations and disclosure as to the money that we make. We have to do that by law. And so what I'm saying is what would be wrong with releasing the contributions? As a matter of fact, my deductions come directly out of my pay slip every month. So I don't have to pay it over the counter. As a member of Parliament, I don't remember what deductions are, but it comes out of my salary. And why would a member of Parliament want to hide that from the public?
Last week, Gibson revealed that national insurance contributions were made for Gomez in February 2012 by a plumbing company. He said the only other contributions Gomez made were in May, June, and July, when he was on the government's 52-week job program. Before that, NIB records show Gomez made contributions in November 2000. He lived in the United States for 10 years before returning to the Bahamas in August 2011. FNM leaders called Gibson's actions an ethical breach and abuse of power. Meantime, Prime Minister Christie said he would not have released such personal information from NIB's files, but Gibson insists he did nothing wrong.
He volunteered to become a public figure. He did that. He made a declaration declaring the income for the previous year after December 31st. He did that. He is now a public figure. And so once he stepped into that arena, there's no more private information about it. His public disclosure. He publicly declared salary of $28,000.
Gomez declared on his nomination form for the North Abaco by-election that he is an educator with a salary of $28,000. He later revealed that he is currently unemployed, and the salary he declared represented love offerings he received from different churches as a visiting pastor. The Labor Minister says the public deserves to know if Gomez made contributions.
The press called and asked me to verify whether or not who's the best place to ask than the minister. Wouldn't the minister have access to this information that he declared? I didn't speak to anything that he didn't personally declare himself. Right? If he didn't want us to talk about it, he should not have declared it. He should have said that I made $28,000 love offering from day one, and then nobody would question it. If he had said that, he should have said that I made it, whether it was frying donuts or whatever in the U.S., he should have said that, right? But he seems to be a bit confused as to where he made his money.
While the Labor Minister says he would welcome releasing all MPs' contributions, he never actually said if he would do it and when. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonnie Toot.
Well, the Free National Movement making one of its final cases to North Abaconians as to why they should keep that seat in Parliament red. With just 3 days before the by-election, the party is hoping that residents who voted for former Prime Minister and North Abaco MP Hubert Ingram on May 7th also vote for the FNM's candidate Craig Gomez on October 15th. Paige McCartney reports.
Ingram, who represented North Abaconians for more than 3 decades, told Murphytown residents that they have already decided which party they want to represent them on May 7th. He said there's only now a new face that they would send to Parliament. He was speaking to scores of FNM supporters at the rally in that settlement last night. The Prime Minister criticized the PLP's promises to invest more than $1 million in infrastructure on that island. Ingram also responded to criticism of the state of roads in and around Marsh Harbor that the Christie administration made when it held its first ever cabinet meeting on that island last week. Ingram admitted that the roads are poor, but said contrary to what the PLP has said, plans were already in the works prior to the general election to construct new roads on Abaco. However, he said the PLP's vow to complete the work with a $1 million investment is impossible to accomplish.
What they're promising to do for you now, though, is to downgrade what the FNM left in place for you. They tell you they're going to spend $1 million to do road works in Marsh Harbor, Dundas, and Murphy. Well, that's a joke. Marsh Harbor, Dundas, and Murphy have arrived at the point where we determined that the ordinary sand seal road that the family islands get are no longer good for you. You got heavy traffic, congested areas, containers, and the rest of it. And at the time had come for your roads to be asphalted, blacktop, just like the roads in Nassau, or the ones in Cooperstown, Blackwood, or Treasure Key, or Blackwood or Fire Road. And we had them costed out, and they were going to cost $6 million, not $1 million. Don't let nobody fool you. Your roads can't be done for $1 million.
Ingram further pointed out the number of advancements that have been brought to the island of Abaco under the FNM.
We are the ones who created Central Pines. All those hundreds of people and lots of there, we are the ones who did it. We are the ones who made those lots available for people to create businesses along the Abaco, the airport road in Marsh Harbor. We are the ones who gave you better water, and electricity, and telecommunications. And we are the ones that gave you cable television and internet services. We are the ones who made it possible for Abaco to have its own radio station and its own television station. We did that. We are the ones who increased the number of scholarships available for students to attend the College of Bahamas or go abroad to school. We are the ones who built a new port here in Marsh Harbor, a new electricity plant down in Wilson City, a new airport terminal called Leonard Thompson at the airport.
Ingram told residents not to fall victim to the promises made by the PLP because they're now the government. And also in a little comical relief, he told them to also make promises to the PLP the same way promises are being made to them.
So I ask you to resist and rebuff their threats and their inducements. And I want to repeat to you, what they tell you are a bunch of lies. They're lying to you, and they're making you false promises. Now that's what they're doing to you. I suggest you do something to them too. You could also promise them, and you could also lie to them, because lying ain't wrong. If you're scared, you don't want to tell them the truth, say, yeah, child, I'm voting for you. You scared you ain't going to put on the uniform election day? Wear your own clothes, naturally. And when you come out, they say, you come in, yeah, you got that one. I put that one for you.
For much of my life, I have lived among you as your neighbor. For the last 3 months, I have moved among you as the candidate for the FNM. I have been in your homes, in your community, and your churches, and I've heard the cry and the pain of the people. My conversations with you and my interaction with you have given me tremendous confidence that we will be victorious come October 15th.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Paige McCartney.
The Progressive Liberal Party also held a rally in Abaco last night, this one in Ingram's hometown of Cooperstown. Prime Minister Perry Christie and North Abaco MP hopeful Renato Curry, among others, addressed supporters at that rally. The Prime Minister began by praising Curry and slamming Gomez and the FNM, saying opposition leaders didn't make a careful, thoughtful, or respectful choice in selecting Gomez, and he doesn't know what they were thinking, but to him it's clear they weren't thinking about the people of North Abaco. Christie said things that should be simple about the FNM candidate, like income and sources of employment, have been confusing. Christie added that while many North Abaconians are thankful for the former Prime Minister's service to the community, there are questions about certain things, such as the nearly $50 million budget overrun on the North Abaco power plant, but continuing frequent power outages still plague the constituency. Christie said the by-election isn't about parties and politicians, but about new ideas and a bright future. Meantime, Curry said he's serious about job creation, economic empowerment, and new opportunities in North Abaco. Curry laid out his commitment to education, including preschools, scholarships, and a GED program. He also called for sustainable jobs and better opportunities for farmers and small business owners. He urged supporters to further explore his plans at northabaco.com. Well, in other news, government has no immediate plans to offer concessions to Sandals' troubled Emerald Bay property in Exuma. However, Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe says they're working on getting more tourists to the island. 2 weeks ago, Prime Minister Perry Christie revealed that the island's largest private employer was in danger of closing. Days later, Sandals officials said while the resort is struggling financially, it is not looking for a government bailout. Wilshcombe said no final decision has been made on how government will provide assistance.
Obviously, we have to put more money into Exuma for more marketing to ensure that not only Sandals benefits, but the entire island. And so the marketing promotions we're giving thought to now. In addition to that, we want more airlift. And we're discussing with some of the major carriers coming to Exuma and creating the hub of Nassau and allowing for other visitors to land here and also move on to Exuma. So we're continuing the discussions because we understand it's very important. And they've done well.
In fact, Wilshcombe noted that Exuma and Bimini are responsible for an increase in overnight visitors to the family islands. Sandals Resorts International flew in a group of travel agents from around the world this week to promote the property. Additionally, Wilshcombe says government will continue to hold discussions with officials.
As we've done with many other the hotel operators in the Bahamas, we do that and we look at how we're able to create the leverage that they require, we require. The whole idea is to ensure that we have an agreement that allows for the sustainability of the property and of the island.
Sandals Emerald Bay employs 600 people. Sandals officials have said that while occupancy levels are picking up, the resort is not making a profit due to high electricity costs, the price of subsidizing airlines, and taxes.